Hey, what's going on, RC drivers? I've got a bunch of stuff going on at the shop right now, and one of the things that I have to get done is painting a body. And I know for a lot of people, they just don't like painting. They're afraid that they're gonna spray too much and it's gonna run all over the place and the colors are gonna bleed together. It's just gonna look really bad. But it's really not that hard. It just takes a little bit of practice, and yeah, you might screw up a couple of times, but you could do it. I know you could do it, and I'm gonna help you out. And what we're gonna do today is we're gonna paint a body with spray cans. I've got an Arrma Infraction body that I'm going to paint up for an upcoming project, and I figured, you know what, it's a great time to show you guys some tips and tricks on how to paint with a spray can. We're going to use some Duratrax colors. I got them lined up back here, and I think this body is going to come out pretty cool. So you can kind of see I've already marked it up. I've got some mask on it, and let me just walk you through how I got to this particular point with it. So first up, you're going to want to wash the body. This is key because when they mold a body shell such as this, there's oils and residues that can get onto the body, and that will cause your paint to fisheye and run, and that's how you get, you know, some of those bad paint jobs. So definitely wash it off first. Go find yourself the biggest sink you have in your house. Use some warm water, some clear dish soap, and a paper towel, and really scrub it down really good, and then dry it off. Next up, you're going to have to mask out the body to get your designs and stuff. So there's a couple ways to do that. You could use masking tape, or you could use liquid mask like I did. Now, when you go and use a liquid mask, you're going to have to put multiple coats on there. So I actually have 4 coats of liquid mask on this, and that's what I use when I use spray cans. When I airbrush paints, so I get away with 3 coats on there, but you're gonna want the liquid mask to dry between coats, and make sure it's nice and clear like this. All right, once that was done, I moved on to my design, and I just took a Sharpie marker and laid out my design on the outside of the body. And I've got these terror stripes kind of going on here. And once I laid out the design, I went and cut it out with a X-Acto knife on the underside of the body. Everything's going on the underside of the body with a Lexan body. If you had a hard ABS body, all the painting is done and the masking is done on the outside, but with a Lexan, it's all done on the underside of it. So once I got everything cut out, I went and wrote on the body what colors I was going to use where, just as a quick reference, because there's a lot of stripes going on here. And then I went and peeled off the area that I'm going to paint first. Now, a lot of people will tell you to go and paint your dark colors first and your light colors last. That way they don't bleed into each other. And sometimes that's not the easiest thing to do because maybe your dark colors really need to go on last. So what you do there is you back your colors with certain other colors to make sure that paints don't bleed through each other. So if you're doing, like, let's say a fluorescent yellow, you don't want to go and back it with black. That will just turn it into mud. What you're going to want to do is paint it with a white. So you back your lighter colors with white or silver, and that way other colors won't bleed through it. So what I'm going to start off with here is painting my gunmetal first. So that's a darker color. So I'm going to put my gunmetal down. Then I'm going to move on to maybe a silver. I don't know. I'm still playing with what colors I want where, and I might rewrite where I'm going to put stuff. But that's the method I'm going to take. So, first up, I'm just going to do some solid colors. So I'm going to go ahead and lay down multiple coats, letting the paint dry between each coat. And it really depends how opaque the color is on how many coats you want to put down. But with something like a gunmetal or a silver, it only takes like 2 or 3, maybe 4 coats. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we're going to move on to the next steps. I'll show you how to pull off the mask for the next color and a couple more tricks. So I've gone ahead here and sprayed 3 coats of my gunmetal onto the body, allowing it to dry between each coat, and I actually let it set overnight because it was running a little late yesterday. But after that, I went and cut out the pinstripes using my X-Acto knife. And because it's a tear style paint job, you can just kind of free flow your cuts. And then what I did is I used the back of the X-Acto knife, the tip, and then use that to peel off the masking film. And when I do that, I peel it towards the paint. I don't peel it towards the mask because that can lift up the mask, and that's when you get some runs underneath underneath it. So that's how I went and cut out all of the pin stripes that are going to go between the different colors here. So, basically this silver or this gunmetal stripe here is going to be outlined by a black pin stripe. And that's what I'm going to use next is black spray paint from Duratrax and spray those black outlines. And after that, I'm going to move on to my silver. As you can see, I've sprayed my black pin striping, and it took a couple of coats. The black Duratrax paint comes out pretty fine and almost kind of transparent. I thought I was spraying my window tint for a moment. So I actually moved the can a bit closer to the body just so it'd be a bit more opaque. And you do run the risk of maybe having some paint drips when you do that. But with a little practice, which I do have, I was able to get a nice opaque black on here. Then I moved on to the silver. And the silver has some really large metal flakes, and it looks really, really good. Only put down 2 coats of silver, and then I backed it with white. Now I'm ready to move on to the other areas of the body that I haven't painted yet. I've already pulled off my liquid mask, and up next I'm going to go and do a fade with spray can. So I'm going to do orange in the back, yellow in the center, and white in the front. And I'm going to spray my orange first, then my yellow, and then my white. And my white will go and back everything so it'll be nice and vibrant. Now when I go to spray the back with the orange first, I'm going to tilt the can so it's facing backwards. So all the paint will flow towards the back, and I hopefully won't get any overspray on the front of the body. And then I will do the same for the yellow, and then finally the white. All right, I'm going to go spray that, and we'll see how it looks after I'm done. So I think the fade came out pretty good. It was a bit of a windy day outside, so it was hard to control the paint flow. But like I said before, you want to face the can so it goes towards the back of the body. If that's the darker color that you're spraying, you want to just, direct all that paint towards the one side. If you kind of just, hold the body flat and spray against it like this, the paint's got a mushroom cloud out, and that's when you get that overspray on the front of the body, at least when you're doing a fade style of paint scheme. But after I sprayed the orange, I sprayed the yellow, and that just kind of blends in together, and then I sprayed the white, and it gives you that nice cool fade effect. And then after that, I went and I backed it with Duratrax's overcoat. They have an overcoat white, and the reason why I did that, this white is very opaque and it made everything nice and bright, but I'm going to spray the back of the truck black, this bed area here, and while I'm at it, I'm just going to go spray the entire underside of the body with blacks, just so that if you see, through the wheel wells and stuff, it's all black on the inside of it. So that's why you want to make sure your colors are really backed well, such as the lighter fluorescence here with a white, or even the silvers, you back them with a white, or even sometimes a black if you want to change up the color a little bit, make it a little bit darker. So there's a way to play with the paints in your benefit to make the colors change and look different and really stand out. All right, I'm gonna go spray that black in the bed area, and then I'm gonna throw my decals on, and we'll see how this truck finally looks. There it is, the finished paint job. I think this thing came out really awesome for using spray cans. Usually you need an airbrush to get some fine detail in there, but this fade I think came out pretty awesome. And I really like the Duratrax paints. That's one thing I didn't mention as I was going through, is they spray really, really well. I like how opaque they are. The only issue I had was, oddly enough, the black. I thought that could have been a bit more opaque and covered a bit heavier with each coat. But nonetheless, this thing came out really, really awesome. I'm really happy with it. And painting a body with spray cans is pretty easy. Yes, it will take you some time. You do have to practice, but don't be afraid of it. You might mess up a body here or there. You know, the big tip is if you start to see a run, stop, let the paint dry, and move the can back just a little bit so it doesn't really glob on the paint, and that's what causes the runs. So of course, watch your distance between the can and the body, and my only other tip would be to make sure you warm up the cans and be aware of temperature and weather conditions outside, because that will affect how the paint adheres, how it sprays. You know, with wind, it's got to go all over the place. So, you know, you just have to be aware of certain things and a little bit of practice, and you're going to be a pro at painting with a spray can. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this little how-to video featuring Duratrax paints and this Infraction body. It's got to go onto a project I'm working on, so if you want to see that, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell. Throw this video a like. We'll see you back soon for some more RC Driver videos.